UX's Analytics, Working with Dashboards, Shared Reports at a Glance. The Homepage and Global Header. The homepage and global header are what most people see as they log into UX's Analytics. These two items that you see on the screen, the homepage, the largest white section on the screen, and the global header, the bar across the top, are simply navigation tools. And you can use these navigation tools to navigate to some other place in Analytics. On the homepage itself, you'll find several different sections, and we'll start with the Create section over here. The Create section, as the name implies, gives you access to links that will help you begin to create new items. For example, if you need to create a new analysis, you can simply come over here to the Create section, click the Analysis link, and Analytics will provide you with a list of subject areas that you can use to start creating your new analysis. If you happen to not be on the home page and you'd like to create a new analysis, or if you just want to click someplace else to start that creation process, you can also click on the New menu here in the global header, and you'll find that the menu available under the New menu is exactly the same as the links that are available in the Create section, so I can also click New Analysis to start creating that new analysis that I need to create and begin the process there. So as you can see, the items on the home page very often have a link or another alternative method of navigation up on the global header. That's not always true, but it is true for several different items. The next section of the home page I want to mention is the Get Started area down here in the lower left. The Get Started area has a couple of important links. The first link being the My UX's Roles in APL menu item. When you select that particular item, the screen is going to change and you're going to be navigating to a security dashboard. The security dashboard, and more specifically the My UX's Roles page on the security dashboard, is where you can navigate to check the roles that you've been assigned for access to all of the different UX's systems. The screen will give you some information about yourself. It'll give you a link to request a different level of access to any of the UX's systems. It'll provide you with a link, a report showing your access provisioning liaisons, your APLs. Those are the people who can initially approve any request that you submit for a different level of access. You'll also see a small report listing any prerequisites that you might have completed. And then more importantly, or most importantly, is this list of roles down at the bottom of the screen that shows you the roles that you've been assigned in any of the different UX's systems. The top of the list is usually headed by UX's Analytics roles, and you can see that I have a number of different roles assigned. Some of these roles are more typical of general users, so some of them are specific to my position here in UAir. But there are also roles listed for UX's employee, UX's learning, UX's student, etc. So this is where you can come to check your roles that you've been assigned. Now this did open up on a separate tab in my browser, so I'm going to close that tab and navigate back to the home page. I clicked on the My UX's Roles in APL link, as I mentioned, to get to that security dashboard. There's also a corresponding menu up on the global header. It's the My Roles link on the global header that would navigate to exactly the same dashboard. The other item I want to mention here in the Get Started area is this link right here to the UX's Community Analytics Forum. If and when a person has an issue with something happening in analytics, I encourage you to use this UX's Community Analytics Forum link to navigate out to the UX's community and post your issue on the Analytics Forum. That way we have an opportunity to help you. Continuing on the review of the home page, on the right-hand side I have a couple of different sections. There's the Recent section here that just shows in general the last 6 dashboards that I've accessed. And then the Others section, the Others part of the Recent section, shows the last, in this case, a few items that I have recently been editing or working with. And then there's the Most Popular section at the bottom that lists a number of popular dashboards that are related to those roles that I have been assigned. That's most of the information on the home page. I do want to point out that there are a number of additional items on the global header that are worth mentioning. One of those things is the catalog link. If you click the link for the catalog, the system will navigate out to the catalog, which is essentially the built-in file management tool here in Analytics. Each person who has access to Analytics has access to their own set of personal folders and a set of shared folders. The personal folders are yours to create and use and manage as you wish, and this is where you will be storing any dashboards or reports or anything else that you've created will be in your own personal folders most likely. Other than that, it's really just a file management tool. I'm not going to go any further into that than this particular little mention here. I'm going to go back home. Use the home link on the global header. That takes me back home. The next menu up here on the global header is the favorites menu. This is your menu to build as you see fit. If you find a dashboard that you feel would be useful for you to have direct access to or a little bit faster access to or special access to, you can navigate to that particular dashboard. I'm just going to the general financial management dashboard for current account balances, and I can then go to my favorites menu and add that dashboard page to my favorites. From that point on, there will be a link to it on my favorites menu, and I don't have to remember where else that link might exist for me to find and navigate to this particular dashboard. I'm going to go back home. I can also remove things from that favorites menu if I wish. Just navigate back to the item on the favorites menu, and when you get there, you can remove that item from your menu just by using the option on the favorites menu itself. And that item has now been removed from my favorites menu. The next menu up on the global header is the dashboards menu itself. When I look at the dashboards menu, the dashboards that I have access to are directly related to the roles that I've been assigned, and that was from that report on the My Roles page. So if I've been assigned access to financial reports or student reports, I'll find those different items here on the dashboards menu: financial or student or research or space or anything else that's available here. If a person has not been assigned those roles, they will not see those items on the dashboards menu, and they will not even know that they're missing something. It just won't be visible to them here. The only way that you'll see the dashboards is to have the role assigned to you through in Analytics, so that that gives you access to the different data. The new menu here on the global header, as mentioned before, is identical, gives you the links that are identical to those links found in the Create section here on the home page. It's just another way to navigate and to start creating something new. The Open menu is just what it sounds like. It's a way that you can open existing items, perhaps things that you've created, dashboards, reports, filters, prompts, agents, etc. But another handy feature of the Open menu is that it does have this recent section. So if you're working back and forth between a dashboard and a report that you're working on, or a filter or something else that you're working on, you can go to the dashboard, for example, and using the Open menu, the recent section on the Open menu, and it'll navigate out to that dashboard. Then you can use the Open menu again to navigate back to whatever report it might be that you were working on, without having to go through the catalog or without having to go back to the home page. And then when you're done with all your navigating around, you can log out, or you can go back to the home page and start another process, whatever it is you need to do. And the last thing I want to mention here on the home page and global header is that you have an option to change the way some of the functions work as you log into Analytics. So I clicked on my NetID and I clicked on the My Account link. And that opens up this My Account page. It has a number of different tabs available to it. And once the page is loaded, the only thing that I want to mention here for you is that you can change the page that you land on as you log into Analytics. So as you can see, there's a starting page option here, and I have opted, or the system has defaulted to make sure that I land on the home page as I log into Analytics. If you wish, you can change this to land on your own personal dashboard. If you typically only go to one specific dashboard page or set of pages here in Analytics, you can select that page and perhaps go directly to the financial management reports or dashboard page if that's what you wish to do. Just set that to the particular dashboard set that you want to go to, click OK, and next time you log into Analytics, you will land on that page rather than landing on the home page. I'm going to cancel that since I actually like landing on the home page. And that is the review of the home page and global header. Working with dashboards. Shared reports at a glance. Working with dashboards section. Most people who interact with analytics do so through dashboards and the different analyses that are displayed on those dashboards. This little video is designed to help you become a little bit more familiar with what you're seeing in general, and we'll walk through some of the things that you might need to know to work a little bit more efficiently and effectively with the data that you'll find in analytics. The dashboards menu itself gives you access to all the dashboards to which you have been granted access, and this pertains to the roles that you might have been assigned for access to different types of data. And you'll see that there are a number of different headings on the dashboard menu, and those different headings, of course, refer to different types of data that you have access to within analytics. Just as an example, we'll use the financial dashboard set, and I can expand that set to see all of the different financial dashboards that are available to me. And there are more than can even be seen on the main screen. I have to use the little scroll down button down at the bottom or the scroll up button here now to see all the different financial dashboards that are available to me. Just as an example, I'm going to use the General Financial Management Dashboard set. And as I hover over that, you'll see that I get a little pop-up description of what is contained on that dashboard set. But I'm going to go ahead and click through to that dashboard set. When the system navigates out to any particular dashboard set, you typically find yourself landing on an overview page. The overview page provides a landing site for you as you get to that dashboard set, and it gives you some information. It tells you where you've landed, provides some basic information about what you might find here. There may be some announcements or notices available, and very often you'll find on these overview pages, when it's appropriate, a list of other reports and things that you can navigate directly to from this overview page. You might find some other links and documents available to you as well that pertain to this dashboard, and some basic information about how you might use the dashboard set itself. And most importantly, of course, and the reason that you came here is likely to use one of the different dashboard pages that are behind the overview page. Now, this particular dashboard set has a lot of tabs behind it, a lot of pages. You can use those words interchangeably. In fact, there are enough that the menu extends off the side of the screen, and I can click that small double-headed arrow to see that there are 5 additional dashboard pages that are available to me besides the ones that are visible on the screen. Now we're going to go into the current account balances dashboard just as my example, and once again, as I hover over it, there is a little pop-up screen of information that gives me a bit of information about what I'm going to be seeing. As I navigate over to that current account balances page, and again, this dashboard setup is very similar to most of the other dashboards that are available here in Analytics. I find myself faced with a series of fields across the top of the screen that allow me to filter the report down below. This set of prompts is called a dashboard prompt. The entire set of fields is called a dashboard prompt, and these are individual prompt fields. The fields change with each individual dashboard that you might land on. This one is, of course, focused on financial information. And I can use these fields and set any or all of them. I don't have to set all of them. I can pick and choose what I want to filter the information in the report below. Now, as you can see, there are already a few of these fields have been automatically filled in with current information. So you can see that fiscal year has been filled in with the current fiscal year. The period number, period 7, is the month in which this video is being recorded. A few of the other ones have not been filled in. Those are the ones that say select value. And then this also, the organization code has been filled in with my particular organization code. So that particular field is picking up the logged in user's home department and populating that field based on the logged in user. I can make any changes to this set of prompts that I wish, adding things in as I go, changing things around as I go, until I have my filter set to give me the information that I'm looking for. And once I have that information set, I can click apply, and the dashboard is going to run and refresh itself to give me that information that I've asked for. And it has just done so. And now I can scroll down a little bit and take a look at the report that's available to me. UAccess Analytics. Working with dashboards, shared reports at a glance. Working with analyses. An analysis is simply a collection of data put together into report form. And of course it can consist of a table of data, a chart or a graph, or some other representation of data. An analysis has two sort of sides to it. There's the query itself, which is hidden in the background. It's the underlying commands issued to the database to retrieve that information that you want. And then the results is the other half of, or the other side of the report. The results are what we're looking at here on the screen. As we're looking at any particular report, there are typically a number of different functions that are available to us. They're not available on all reports, and it does differ given the purpose of the report, given the type of data that we're looking at, what the users have requested in a broad sense. But this particular report has a number of different functions available to it. First off, you can see at the top there's some data that's been defined up here at the top of the screen. And immediately below that, and below the title of the report, there's this item here that says select a view, and this is straightforward enough. It's referred to as a view selector. The view selector gives the user the ability to look at different views of the same report. This particular report has 8 different views, and the default view is the summary by account number version of this report. I can use that if this is the view that is most pertinent to what I need to do. But the users can select any of these other different versions of the report, these other views of the report, and every time I select that view, the information that's presented in the table will change to some degree, whether large or small, representing the difference in the views. And very often I have perhaps a set of summary type views as well as detail views. Now the default view is the summary by account number. There's also a corresponding detail view, detail by account number. And I can look at that and you'll see that the report is much different in size and scope. It's much longer, it's actually much wider, and there's more detailed information. In fact, I can also click on the little arrow here and either page through the report 25 rows at a time, or I can use the expand all button and expand the entire report so that I can see all of it on the screen with just a little flick of my roller mouse button here. I can navigate back and forth through the report up and down as well as sideways. I'm going to set this back to the summary by account number view just so it fits on the screen a little more appropriately. Down at the bottom of the report, there's this small box of information. This is called the filters view. It's simply a picture of the filters that have been applied based on the values that you selected in the dashboard prompt at the top of the page. But that's handy to be reminded of how this report was filtered, especially if you were to print this report or otherwise export it out of analytics. Now the analysis itself, and the reason that you're looking at the dashboard, is to see this analysis, this report, is because that's what you need to complete your work. Most of the analyses that are available to you in analytics have a lot of built-in functionality that can help you get exactly the type of data or the data that you're looking for. And it may not be necessary to export the data to some other piece of software or even to make your own copy of the analysis. Very often you can make the modifications that you need to make right here on the dashboard. So here on this particular report, you can see that there are quite a number of different data columns that are available to you. There are column headers across the top of the screen, of course. And if you pay attention as I move across, you can see that there are small, what appear to be little gray buttons appearing at the top or along with my mouse as I'm moving my mouse. In fact, there's one column here that has a set of buttons that are relatively locked into place, with one of those buttons, the up arrow, being highlighted in blue. Those are sorting functions. So this report has been sorted by account number to put those account numbers in numeric order within the different parameters of the columns that are to the left of that account number column. I can choose to resort this column, the entire report, and flip those account numbers upside down. If I wish, I can put it back in the original order, and you can see all the rest of the data changing as I do that. I could also choose to right-click on this particular column and get this pop-up menu that has a lot of different options on it. And I could choose to clear all sorts in the view, and that will remove the sorting from the hard-coded sorting from that account number column, and let the system revert to its default sort, which happens to be having those account numbers in the proper order from small to large. But now that would allow me to perhaps change it to sort it by account name if I wished to do so. So I can sort that by account name in ascending order or in descending order as I wish, or make whatever other changes I want to make. I'm going to put that back in the default sorting order of account number here. Some other changes that you can make using that right-click menu that you had a brief glimpse of. You may find that there are what feel to you to be too many columns in this report. This report was built to accommodate most people's usage of the report, but you can also take this opportunity to clean up the report or to make it better suit your needs. For example, I know that this report is filtered to fiscal year 2020 and to period number 6, so I don't necessarily need to keep those columns in this report. So I can right-click on a column header for one of those report columns that I no longer wish to have in the report, and I can choose to exclude that column. The report will rerun, and it takes just a few moments, and when it reruns, that column has been removed from the report, even though the filters are still applied for fiscal year 2020. I'm also excluding the period number column, period 6, because I know that it's period 6, because I have the filters view down here at the bottom of the screen telling me that that is so. Because I also know that this report is automatically and sorted to, or excuse me, filtered to my particular college and my particular organization code, there may not be a reason for me to keep these columns in the report. There may be a reason as well to actually keep them in, but I can also move these columns. If I right-click on the college name column, for example, I can use this right-click menu to not only exclude the column, but I can choose to do some other things with it as well. But one of those things I can do with that column is to move it. And if I choose to, I can move the column to a place called the sections. And if I move it to sections, this column, the college name column, has been pulled out of the table and dropped into this line above the table. So that gives me an opportunity to leave the information in the report, but not make it expand the table. And I can actually do that moving by either right-clicking as you've just seen, or I can grab the column itself if it allows me to do so. Sometimes you struggle with it a little, but you can also sometimes drag the column and drop it into that sections area. If it doesn't do what you want it to in that way, I can just choose to move this column again and move it to the sections area. So now I'm moving organization code up into the sections area as well, and it's fallen just in front of the college name. So my report, I'm changing the report as I wish to make it appear as I wish it to be, to make some of those things happen for me. So I don't necessarily have to export this out of analytics to make some of those changes for me. Most importantly now, once I've got this set the way I want it to be and it looks the way I want it to look, I can also choose to save the customizations that I've created on this dashboard, so that next time I come to the dashboard, I can not quite automatically, but very quickly, very rapidly set this back to the way I want it to look. To save those customizations, I'm going to move my mouse up to the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and I'll find a gear button up there. It's called the Page Options button. And I can click that Page Options button, and I can do a number of different things, but what I want to do now, I want to save the current customization. I can give it a name. Notice it's being saved for myself. I could make it the default view for the page. I usually suggest that people do not do that. You want to see the default view and then change it to apply your customization. So I'm going to go ahead and save this with that name of Custom Current Account Balances. And now when I leave analytics, or perhaps just go back home here in analytics, I'm back on my home page. I can navigate directly back to that current general financial management current account balances dashboard by using the link here in the recent section, and it'll take me back to that dashboard. But it takes me back to that dashboard with the default view, which is what I want. I want to make sure that I'm seeing the default view. Then I can use the Page Options button again and apply a saved customization and go to the customization that I've saved. Each customization is particular to the dashboard page that I'm on. And once I select that customization, the dashboard simply changes to reflect the customization that I desire to see. So you see you have a lot of flexibility on these different dashboard pages to make them look and function the way you want them to look. Now, in addition to having the ability to make those changes directly on the dashboard, there are plenty of times where it would be helpful if you could take these reports out of the dashboard in some fashion and either make your own modifications to them if you wish, or perhaps export them out to Excel or to a PDF document or something of that nature. And there are very often links available down below the filters view, or at least below the report, that will let you do some of those very things. In this case, I have 4 different links. The Analyze link is a very powerful link. The Analyze link gives you an opportunity to make your own copy of the report that you're seeing on the dashboard page. Simply click that Analyze link, and a copy of the report, complete with the prompted filters and all the other features, exactly as you see it on the screen, will open in edit mode. At that point, you can click the Save As button and make it your own report and make any other additional changes that you wish to make to that report. Of course, there is also a refresh link. The refresh link will rerun the analysis, making sure that you're getting the most up-to-date data available. Using that link, the refresh link, is rarely required unless you believe that your computer is showing you a cached version of a report, in which case clicking the refresh link will simply rerun it. The print option, of course, allows you to print the report as you see it on the screen. Your choices of printing are either printed as a PDF document, which is the standard choice, or printed as an HTML document, which is essentially another dashboard page or another online page. And then the last option in that menu of items down at the bottom of the screen is the export option. Now this one has a number of different selections for you to make, but and you can choose to export this as a PDF document, which is akin to printing it as a PDF. But the reason that people tend to come to the export menu, export link, is because they want to send the information out to a spreadsheet. And this is where it gets just a little bit tricky. If you choose to send this report to Excel 2007 Plus or whatever the Excel version is on your computer, the report will be exported out into that piece of Microsoft software as close to the way it looks here in Analytics as is possible. Meaning you're going to have one big box that has this cash style account in it, and one big box that has budget style, and all the rest of the formatting that goes with what you're seeing in this report on screen. And it makes it very difficult to manipulate the data in that report if you use the Excel 2007 Plus or the Excel export function. What most people wish to see when they export the data is they wish to export the data itself and not export it out to Excel 2007 in that fashion. So my suggestion is that if you wish to export the data, that you use the data option and then export it either as CSV format or tab delimited format. They are mostly identical to each other, and it doesn't matter which one you pick. And if you export it out to one of these different types of formats, the data is going to be exported to Excel, but it's going to be the raw data without all of the formatting. And if I pull this into the screen, you'll see now I have all the raw data. In fact, more columns than I have in the report, in the visible report. But now I can manipulate this data and move it around and make it into the format that I wish to see it in. Perhaps something that I wasn't able to do in Analytics. And of course, you can also then use this data in some other function, however you need to use it. But that's usually what people want to do, is export the data. So I'm going to close that. So that's a review of all the different this particular report and all the different functionality that you might find in many, if not most, of the dashboards that are available to you in Analytics.